on their phone, or we could just go. Okay, we're good.
Good morning, everyone. This is the Kingsford Downtown Business Improvement District Advisory Board meeting. Today is January 3rd, and we're opening this meeting at 8:03. Members present, Mrs. Lackey, Mrs. Cooper, Mr. Gerke, Mr. Safarjan, Mrs. West, Mrs. Carpenter. Absent is Mrs. Carrasco and Carrasco. We are open, item number 2, open public comment. Okay, moving on to item number 3, approve the minutes from the 10/13/22, 11/1/22, and 12/6/22 meetings as presented by City Clerk Abigail Paulsgaard. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented. I would like to make a correction. I don't know how to do that properly, but
Yeah.
October 13th, on the second, the last page, the board discussed corner Christmas tree, member Safarjan needs help. I like the word member Safarjan needs help. And from that, we did have a discussion on trees, but trees are not my project. The trees are a project of another organization. I was just helping and resigned from doing it. Therefore, I don't need help anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. So we did have that discussion, and I think we need to put it on the agenda for future if it's not on today's agenda.
Okay, so you're saying just take that off the minutes?
Just take that.
Okay.
Leave that, we did have a discussion about the trees.
I'll just put that there was a discussion about trees.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it also says I was absent, but then it says I made a comment, so.
Yes. Well, I did all the minutes.
I was like, was I
Gotta
gonna
make
be
a
still
call
here?
when they're absent.
My spirit was just here, you guys.
So you're saying for the 13th?
That was on the 6th,
Okay.
which is fine.
And-
I was like,
Well, no, were you there?
well, yeah, if I was talking.
Yeah.
That was last month, yeah, I was here.
So, yeah, you guys, if you see it beforehand, you could let me know also.
Oh, I didn't look at it.
I'll change that. Okay, so with those modifications?
I will make that motion.
All right.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Moving on to item number 4, social media manager consultant, possible action. So, we've been talking about this, about, putting the social media management into the hands of intern or possibly an employee. I was speaking with Abby, about all the ins and outs of an employee, a lot for us to take on at this moment, so we're on the hunt for a possible intern and someone else who could do it. And he's, Reggie and his team, brought up, just kind of a standard operating procedure for someone that we would like for them to, to kind of follow our guideline on this and what we would be expecting of them. There's several different, items in this, proposal, but all good. The only one that, in my opinion, I would like for you to also go over and read it. It's pretty standard. The only one that we, at this point, I would think we would have to remove after speaking with city is that on the last page, it says member highlights. Members can pay to be highlighted in a post at a rate of $25 per post. And then there's a scale for if you want to do other things. We really can't charge, we're not really a business. We really can't charge our members extra to do that. And Abigail told me all the ins and outs of that, but at the end of the day, I thought, well, this is something that we really can't do right now. And Reggie, and I spoke with Reggie, and he, they are aware that we need to remove that part, and they're making the adjustments. So
We can leave the drawing part in there though, right?
So highlighted in yellow, we can do it.
So that paragraph goes with the exception of the highlighted part that can stay. Yellow highlight part.
What does highlight for free mean? Or what does highlight? What does that consist of? Highlight.
They just get more, they get an extra post or something that
An
month,
extra
or,
post.
yeah, or we feature them in some post or what have you.
Is that people that, okay.
And
So
those
are
are
those people that
who
are contacting us and asking us to be posted, or would that be any business within the district at random?
Any business in the district at random. Basically, at the beginning of the year, we'll put all the names in a bucket. We'll just grab 2 out each month, and throw them away after we grab them. And if they don't have anything for us, or they don't want to do it, we'll just skip them and grab another name.
And their name can go back in the bucket at that time.
If we skip them, yes, or if they say just toss it, I mean, it's up to them if they want to waive it for the year, or if they want to waive it for that moment. But they run the risk of not getting it at all if they don't take it at the time. Yes.
And I think there are natural times to be featured that don't count against that for you. If Berman's was to have an anniversary, you know, it's a benchmark for your business, then you would get featured because you have a benchmark. Or if someone's hosting you know, you've got your line dancing things going on downtown, you're active in the community, you're gonna get naturally featured more than somebody that's not. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So there's some of those that don't count against your specific
Correct.
featured
Yeah.
posts that you get.
If you're drawn, what information do you have to provide? Or is that something, if you're drawn, it's like you're winning something, I'm just speaking out loud here. Is that something that our social media manager is gonna take and build for them from ground roots up to maybe possibly encourage them to participate? Or is it, you know, we drew you, but you have to give us all your info?
They're gonna have to give the content. They're gonna have to provide either the photos that go with it, or the video, or, what the post says, but obviously our manager would edit appropriately to put together a good post. And they have to have something to go off of, in the process. They can work with them and help build that post, but not necessarily do it without them.
So how is that different than just, like, if we're posting 6 days a week, we're sharing businesses who are tagging us, how is that different than just like regularly sharing and promoting and tagging everyone?
Well, because it's not just a tag, it's not just a share, it's an actual post made by us, by the bid. So it's gonna be an actual bid post on the bid timelines, those businesses, versus just a tag or a share.
And are we gonna run that more often than other folks? At that same post, are we gonna like, okay, we drew you, we're gonna run this 5 times for 4 weeks that month?
Yeah, they're gonna be highlighted for that month, so.
So they would be, like, you go to our Kingsburg, I think this is what Reggie's trying to say, you go to like our Kingsburg BID, so they're gonna be an actual post on here, not
Yes.
just on a highlight reel.
Right.
Oh, yeah. So,
So when you go to
Leave
bid,
it on forever.
yeah, exactly. It'll be on there forever, exactly.
And I'm thinking whoever your person is, depending on their capacity, time, expectations, all of that they're allowed to have. They may be in a situation where they can come to your business and shoot some video and stuff for you, especially for people who are not savvy in that area, because it's like, you know, you can do a story, so-and-so's been on, you know, Draper for 25 years open and, well, you know what I mean, like a
Yeah.
future story of their history or their future, maybe a story telling about their future, where they're headed, you know, whatever, maybe.
How many members do we have?
100, like from 170 to 180.
I really like the, you know, picking the 2 a month deal, and putting them on a post. My only concern is that we want everything to look very, nice when you like come to our page. So I would like to see like more, gets this to be in charge of building that instead of like that actual business, because then it's going to, some people it's gonna look great, and some people aren't as tech savvy, and so it could look really bad.
Right, and that's why I said it'd be up to that person to edit and put that.
Oh, this person?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking
Yeah.
about the business.
No,
person.
it'll be
Okay.
up to the
Okay.
social media manager to to build the actual post. The
Cool.
business would just just provide content.
That's great, I misunderstood.
Sorry, yeah.
I'm just also, and I understand there'll be a lot of businesses that will pass on this. But if there's 170, and we do 2 a month, I'll use me as an example, if I'm the last one drawn, it's 7 years from now. Hell, I don't know if I'll be alive in 7 years, no less, that seems like unless we get a lot of people that, it's, I understand it's luck of the draw, maybe that's what it needs to be, but it seems like there's that 7 years is a long time because I hear complaints about people paying into this to be highlighted as a business. If that business, happens
Well,
to be
what
the
if
last
we
one.
started at 2 a month right now, and if our social media person that we get in is like, I could do 1 of these a week.
1 a week.
There's room, there's wiggle.
I mean, it's just a
Yeah.
thought,
And even at 1 a week,
I did the
we're still
math.
only getting 52 in a year, but,
But if you look at our business list,
yeah.
more than half are gonna pass. Would be my guess.
But then possibly it would encourage,
We're still paying to be,
And
like,
not.
we're still,
Mhm.
Yeah, but, and I was thinking about that, Reggie. I would normally say you're 100% correct, but if we have a social media person that is helping them put that together and all that, it might be, and they're paying into the bid, they might go, well, it's not costing us any more to be highlighted, let's go for it. Especially after they see a few of the first ones, and if they're, as Lauren said, professionally done or, consistent and classy looking, they might say, yeah, we'll do it.
And they have to be a member in good standing too, by the way. They've had to have paid their dues and.
we're getting a lot better at that.
Mhm. I think the idea of 2 a month was, this person that we can afford right now
Mm-hmm.
probably doesn't even have the capacity to do 2 a month with all the other stuff that has to get done too, so.
Starting point.
It's a starting point.
Because I think the heart behind that is showing that it's trying to make it fair, that.
All inclusive, everybody, reaching out to folks that are not,
Everybody gets a chance.
just right now.
Yep. They may have to wait 7 years, but they get a chance. No, it'll be sooner than that, I'm sure.
So, and then I don't know if you guys were just kind of reading through this, there are social media goals, for instance, drive website traffic, build brand awareness, increase engagement, drive leads and sales for bid members. Audience, measurable metrics, increase in sales, clicks, followers, et cetera. Timeline, I'm not sure.
Okay, so those audience and timeline are blank because that's gonna kind of be up to us to work with that person and develop what that looks like. Audience is going to be looking at, what is the target audience for the posts that are being done. Obviously, in different platforms and different, businesses are gonna have a different audience. So that's very, very fluid. Obviously, if it's a beauty salon, they're probably not gonna be targeting me. Or, that kind of thing. So, the audience is blank for that reason, because the audience is gonna vary with every single post. Measurable metrics, that's gonna be up to us to decide what we want to see from this person. Are we getting more clicks? Are we getting more followers? Are businesses saying they're seeing an increase in revenue? Those are the kind of questions that will drive whether or not this person or this entity is doing their job. And timeline is going to be based on capacity of the job, based on what we're willing to spend. So it's gonna be within those expectations. If we're only gonna be able to pay somebody 2 hours a week to do something, obviously our timeline for when things have to get done have to take that into account. If they're getting paid as a full-time employee, the timeline's gonna be a little bit tighter, there's gonna be a lot more expectations. So that's why those are blank now, because I think it's gonna come up to the person, when we set a budget, it's gonna come up to the people that are bidding on this to tell us what their timeline is going to be based on what the bid amount is.
Is this person going to like check in with one member, all of the members, be at our meeting a month, or what are we wanting out
What
of
would you
that?
Yeah, I'm sure we have I'm sure there's
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a liaison from us, somebody or a group of people, no more than a quorum, that would kind of help be in charge of that person. And yeah, I would expect them to be at every single one of our meetings.
The only thing I question is the increase in sales. I think our job, I'll pick on June, we can get people to click on it and they go into her shop. Whether they buy is not a bid, that's June. That's June's product that she has. You know, I can get people to walk in, if I can get people to walk into Berman's Flowers, whether they buy a gift or not, it may not, that's not our job to pick out Leslie's items or suggest what she has in her shop. Getting them in the shop, you know, to me, traffic is, you know, and then I go back to Swedish Festival. Sometimes Swedish Festival is not the best day as far as merchants go, as far as sales. But if you can get them in your shop and you have the right product, or you have the right services, they'll come back, type of thing. You know, that's, you know, if they're not from Cucamonga or someplace.
So maybe sales is just like a way, like,
It's
all the folks in our district that are retail
Mhm.
are like, what am I getting for my money? I'm not making any more money, you're costing me money. And so I think bottom line for a retail person, and it's not for insurance folks or professional investment people or things like that. If they want to see their sales go up based on the engagement of the social media. Does that make sense?
That just doesn't happen though, social, Instagram, everyone kind of has this idea about Instagram that, you know, it's a social thing, right?
Mhm.
People want followers, they want interaction, but by having all these followers and that interaction, you're not making more sales.
No.
You need to be running ads,
Mhm.
to get leads, to be making sales.
Right.
So I'm trying to explain that to everybody too, just wanted to put that out
Yeah,
there.
because it's not our job to make them money.
Yeah.
It's our job to create a district downtown that people want to come and be at and help them in that way.
And expose our members.
Yeah, and
So
like,
to explain that, maybe to explain the meaning behind the increase in sales as a metrics is when we go out and it gives us a question to ask the merchants. And it helps us know whether or not we're doing stuff that does benefit them. I think if we ask, hey, you were our featured business this month,
mhm.
did you see an increase in revenue as a result of being featured and what was put out there? And it gives us an idea to understand if what we're doing does, if they just say, oh yeah, we had a whole bunch of extra people walk in the store, but they didn't buy anything. All right, well, you got people in there, I guess that's a result. Or they can say, nothing changed really, or they could say, hey, I made a lot more money because of it. It gives us an opportunity to say, hey, look, this kind of stuff works, and this is how it works for you. And it may be that it's like, oh, it just brought in more people. Well, more people bring in more people, that bring in more people. So that, you know, maybe it doesn't show revenue at that time, but when you say, hey, I made a lot of money doing this, great, now you know how to do it, go do it on your own too. I think it's really what the idea behind the
Yeah.
increase in sales. It's not necessarily gonna be like, oh, well, we featured this business this month and they actually had a down month, so you're fired. That's not the idea behind it. It's more of metrics for us to understand what we're doing. Anybody that's in marketing knows that the bottom line is, did my marketing make more money? And if it didn't, then you need to try something different.
Yeah, I feel like they're just two separate, kind of like Lauren said, like, if you want sales, you need to be like promoting and advertising it, and I think they're two different things, which kind of goes back to like our workshop thing, like teaching people, yes, you have these people in here, but like, maybe you're featured, now they're following you, now you need to know how to use your Instagram to get them to come back with. There's two separate kind of
Yeah.
things. About the featured thing, I think something that might be helpful for either the bid or just the business in general, if we could make like a little, like, Amanda has those cute little like window stickies in there, if we could use like our branding and logo package stuff to put like downtown featured business with a QR code, so if someone's walking by, they see, oh my gosh, look, this business is featured this month, like scan the QR code and see what it's all about, it kind of keeps back in. And I
Yeah.
sticker with,
I think that's getting into the weeds with what that person's job is. This is more of just guidelines for what the expectation is from them. Obviously, it's gonna be up to them to come up with stuff like that, and those are great suggestions, but the idea is just setting basic guidelines so that we can send this out to get people to bid, so we can start hiring somebody and then having those conversations.
Yeah, that's
with
great.
them.
Maybe that's something that Peyton and I can work on later on
Mhm,
and,
exactly.
and do.
And that's actually helpful to that person because you're gonna help them be better at what they're doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are we good with the social platforms? Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, First Professional Services, and Twitter? We don't really do Twitter, do we, that much?
No, we don't do LinkedIn either.
Do we wish to include those two entities?
I think you need to because, your professional services are not advertising on Instagram. If you're active in LinkedIn, you're gonna see a lot of professional services activity on LinkedIn. A lot.
Probably not Twitter though, because that's just
People use Twitter.
blurbs.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that still use Twitter, a lot. Twitter's a good, I think if we just look at building things that fit all four of those, obviously with Twitter, you can put images in now, but, I don't think you wanna leave any of those out, because the more ways you can hit people, the better off you are.
Is that a survey question? That's a survey question. What forms of social media communications do you use in your business?
There's a lot of sports stuff.
So it depends on who you
It
follow.
depends on who you follow.
Yeah.
It depends, yeah. Yeah, and it's like if you go on a teenage girls, it's all, crazy stuff. It definitely follow, like, as my kids have changed and we follow different people, like, different people come through our Twitter. If I research something like Newsy, then I get like a Fresno Beat, Sacramento Beat, I get all the news stuff. It kind of changes.
It more for what you're looking for.
That makes sense. Branding, each account is to have account information completed, including a link to the bid website, contact information, member, downtown district, organization description, and name prominently displayed. Everything from our visuals to our messaging should convey our narrative and values, which basically is saying we need everything to be cohesive, complete and cohesive. Just like, we should have, like, everybody that belongs to chamber has a plaque, and, I've been a chamber member and I've got all my stickers down there. We have no branding in our businesses right now saying we belong to the district, and that we're, proud to be in it. We don't have that logo anywhere in our businesses. That's maybe something we need to look at, and so we are promoting the district. I was just looking at, our Instagram, we have 2,031 followers. I would be willing to bet that almost everybody in this room has the same, close to, or many, many more followers on their own personal Instagram pages. Statement. So we need to increase followership tremendously. I didn't look at Facebook to see what we have, but, so when we go to audience engagement, we're only engaging with possibly 2,000 people a day. That's high when people look. And we have 12,000 folks that live in this town, right? 12,000. And then people out and about in other cities. We definitely need to start pushing that. And then that's something else that we could ask this person to do, like it's the whole click and share and whatever. routine.
If that means we gotta say, hey, invite 20 people and you get entered into a drawing. I mean, we can do things like that and get something donated for a drawing, but that again is up to this person to build that engagement.
Posting, our audience is paying attention. Content should always speak to our values and image while using the most effective types of posts for maximum reach and engagement. All images posted should be high quality, not be blurry, pixelated, low quality, or contain any material that does not align with our brand. And it kind of goes down for there. Grammar, that's a great one. My mom would be happy about that. Posting frequency. There is a fine balance between not enough posting and too much posting. Here are a few guidelines to stay within. Facebook, Instagram. Post at least 6 days a week, 1 per day. I don't know, do you know where you folks got these?
It's from the actual algorithms that they base it off of. If you do it that much, you're more likely to show up higher in people's feeds. If you do it less than that, obviously you fall farther down the feed. If you do it too much more than that, it actually starts hiding your posts because it treats them as spam.
Okay. LinkedIn, we're posting on behalf of our professional service members. Posting on LinkedIn shall be at least 3 days per week, consisting of articles and original content provided by our members if possible, along with general information regarding the business district. Content shall speak to our audience and not just a small demographic, have variety, time and topical posts that speak to the current events and holidays both locally and globally, are interactive.
I think that top one, just to clarify that, is to speak to all of our audience, which is everyone that's going to spend money in Kingsburg, and not just women's clothing or hair salons or people that eat ice cream or, I don't know, just throwing out examples, but making sure that we address everybody in the area that would be interested, because I know we can easily build our posts based on the businesses that we have, but we want to attract more people than just the people that are coming specifically to the businesses. If that makes sense. We want people to come that may not have a reason to be here, but we still want to share, or we still want to post things that they are going to see and get interested in Kingsburg.
And then we talked about the last paragraph, member highlights. Thoughts, any way you guys would like to have this changed, or do you guys want to read it and then email changes to Reg and go from there?
What's our timeline on movement with it?
If we get this squared away, then we sit down with Abigail and we all talk about how much money we want to spend on this.
How much money do we have in the bank right now? Do you know?
You guys, the last thing that I probably sent to you, there's more money in there now as business licenses are coming in. Like 30,000 or more.
Shouldn't we adopt our approval of this, and then this is going to dictate if we can find somebody and how much it's gonna cost? Well, you know, you need an outline of what your goals are and what your expectations are of somebody. I mean,
Yeah, this is number one.
We did it backwards when we did the website.
Yeah.
We just told people, hey, this is how much money we have, tell us what you can do with it. I think what we do this time is, this is what we want you to do,
And if we can't find somebody within our budget,
and this is how much money we have.
then we
Make
may
your
have to
bid.
revise this,
Yep.
you know, type of thing. So, okay, you know.
I think we're gonna get more realistic this way, because we know what we should be able to, we know what we're expecting, and we have a general idea of how much work goes into it, so we should be able to do the math to know how much this person needs to get paid. That way, when we do ask for bids, we can obviously throw out the ones where the guy's like, well, I wanna make $300 an hour doing this. That's not gonna work. so we can know which bids are realistic. So we don't end up with the same, with the issue we had with the website and the photos, where I feel like we spent a lot of money for not much. Right now.
I don't have a problem with this at all with the, you know, once again, with the exception of striking on the last page, the stuff that's being.
I agree.
You guys good with that?
Make a motion? I'll make a motion to approve this as our, operating procedures for social media, with the exception of the paid highlights.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
So our next steps are, we gotta set a budget and then send out an RFP for it, so.
Do we wanna talk money right now?
I think it should be a percentage of our, instead of just putting a number on it, make it a percentage,
Percentage of,
like the total, like whatever on page.
So you guys approved a budget, structure, and most of it is for marketing.
It's like 90% of it's marketing,
Yeah,
right?
like 80%.
Something, yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's 80.
80,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So then out of that 80%, let's say, how much did you think we were at, 35?
Well, wait a minute, what we have in the bank is not necessarily, because some of it is last year money, some of it is already this year money, so I don't know what our anticipated total revenue is, it would be that percentage.
it's about $25,000 a year.
Okay. Is our anticipated income.
Yeah.
Do we have any more, do we have to pay any more for the website? Do we have to pay any more for the photographer?
The photographer, I think I just submitted for her December payment.
Okay.
I honestly, I don't know for the website.
So the website will be
Monthly on that.
maintenance now.
Mm-hmm.
Does maintenance, do we know if maintenance includes, updating the businesses who aren't on there?
Yes, it
Adding
does.
those on? Yeah.
Yeah, once a quarter, or, it's in the contract, how often they get put in there, yeah.
So Amanda sent me her, just not to get out of that, but, website update, the website draft has been roughly combed through, sent edits. Amy said to an email to me this morning that they're hoping to have us live this week. Okay? And then photography, Kim is coming back, she had an updated business list, and the businesses that she has missed, because there are a few that she has missed, and she is coming back this week, or as soon as they get Holiday out of their store, so that she could do that. And they did take all the pictures that we gave them finally, and are getting rid of stock photos on that webpage and put in our pictures. And on the business bio submitted to Creative, so far, there are only two, this is submitted, not in actuality possibly, there are two businesses that have a Twitter account listed in their bio on the webpage. So I think that definitely needs to be a survey question for the district this month.
I think we need to make an effort to go through and get everybody's handles for all those, get to the website people. Brian, question for you. How many hours a week do you think this would take a person to do?
How many hours a week does Amanda spend?
I think this is more than what we're asking Amanda to do right now, for sure, but. You done 20 hours?
Oh, yeah.
10?
Yeah, I'd say 10 to 12.
10, okay. So if you paid $20 an hour for 10 hours a week, that's $10,400 a year. And if you hire them as a independent contractor, which is what we could do, right?
Yeah.
We would just pay them based
Not
off
a
of that.
city employee.
They wouldn't be an employee because that would cost us 8 times more.
We can't do that.
I think if we,
Just reading the paper he gave me alone, I was like, oh, we're out.
I think now, since we spent a bunch of money on the website, getting that all up and running, that was a huge stroke for us to make. I think this is our next move, really, is getting the social media thing in, so that's our next big investment. I would say budget 15 for it, because that gives us some room to do some other stuff within that if we need to. If we want to ask this person to go above and beyond and do some extra stuff, or have them start doing more than 2 people a month, then we have some room to
Do we know what our maintenance is gonna cost on the website?
in the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta read the contract.
It's less than $1,000.
If we hire someone and we don't like the work, can we get rid of them?
Certainly.
Yeah.
If they're not doing
It's
what
like
we asked
we're
here.
not-
Can't do any month to month on it.
Well, before,
Yeah.
before this goes out anyway, our city attorney will read it and add all that
Oh.
language in there.
10,000 seems like a lot,
That does seem
out
like
of
a lot.
25,000, because.
But you're hiring a person.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, back to my conversations last month, going and asking people what they want. Like, Instagram is great, I'm not knocking that, but something that seems to be reoccurring was like events and people putting things on. So I'm just wondering, that extra for $3,000 or $4,000 that we're giving to this person to post, if we could reallocate it to physically bring people and then promote. Not that they should have to put all these things on themselves, but like if that money can be used to physically bring people down here instead of just posting them.
I think that goes into branding, and that goes into, audience engagement too. I think this is more of a guideline of what we're expecting to see happen, and that's gonna take more than just sitting behind a computer all day, for sure.
Right,
Like,
they're
it's
gonna have to go out and
require-
talk to, like,
They're gonna
that
have to
kind
go
of
out and
stuff,
talk
but.
to people, they're gonna have to, they may even have to put on things to do that too. They may have to help put on events.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where it gets a little like, well, my social
This
media or
person
am
put
I?
on events?
Well, they may,
I don't think this
they may.
Well, help promote.
They may
Promote.
promote, they're gonna
Promote.
promote, they're gonna drive, they're gonna say like, we're gonna say, we wanna put on this event downtown. Well, it now becomes this person's responsibility, in addition to what they're already doing, to market that event.
That's their job, to market it.
Yeah, it's a marketing job. I know we talk about, right now, marketing is social media for us.
Right.
That's what we're focusing on. So really, they are a marketing manager of the
Yeah.
bid.
I'm just saying in the grand scheme of like one big pot of money, instead of giving them an extra 3,000 in case we ask them to like post an extra event, which it already said they're supposed to post in addition to things if someone's having an event, using that plan or pay for certain things, like for events. Like if the chamber does something, well, maybe the bid could pay for it once, or if like Berman's wants to do something, or if the Creamery wants to do something, allocating part of that to paying for an event. To
Well-
bring hundreds of people downtown.
Yeah, when we set a budget, we're not actually saying we're gonna pay that person that much. We're just allowing ourselves to spend that much if we need to.
Right.
So I think,
Because it could be like when we set up for the website and we were like, okay, this is about what we'd like to spend, and it came in and it was 3 times their budget to do it.
because I think you might, looking at $20 an hour, you're gonna get a high school kid, maybe a college student. So you have to keep that in mind too, because people that are gonna come in, and if JP Solutions were to come in and bid on this, it would be $275 an hour to do these things. So I think by saying a budget of 15,000 is giving us some room to have options for bids, because otherwise there's a lot of people that are gonna look at that and go, there's no way I'll even bid on it, if it's only 15,000 a year, or if it's only 10,000 a year. I don't want us to just go with the cheapest possible option.
I'm not disagreeing, I'm just thinking about our members and what they had kind of meant to see in this fiscal year.
Sure.
Okay, question. Let's say we pay this person 20 hours a week. They have so many requests for posts that they're gonna go, they would be at their 20 hours for that week. But then we have bid members who are like, your social media manager did not post, and I sent them all these posts. So then are we going to say, well, they have 20 hours a week, and they got to their limit, and I'm sorry?
No, I think the way I see what you're saying, but it goes back into what the
Because
guidelines
that is our
say.
bone of contention right now.
Right, it goes back into what our guidelines say, and we can tell people, like, this is what our policy is there's only this many posts a week. And we can explain to them the reasons why, so that we don't end up turning into a spam account and don't show up anywhere anymore, as one reason. But then the other part of it is, it's what our budget is, but then it also says, it has to be, we have to equally represent the businesses that are in the district. So if, for example, June sends a social media manager 20 posts for the week, and Steve sends one, and somebody else sends, nothing, that person's gonna have to put the balance into that and go, well, I'll put Steve's in for sure, but June's not gonna get all 20 of hers, because that doesn't represent our district equally if June gets all 20. June, since she gave me a bunch of extra content, maybe we'll put 3 up, or we'll share them as stories, or what have you. So it's gonna really be up to that person to really manage that flow. It's gonna be a challenge.
Only certain people post, we all know this. So that's just based off the people who post.
Correct. Yeah, because remember, we're just sharing.
If they don't send something,
If they don't send something, they don't get anything.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Unless we're doing specific things related, like it says in there, we know Berman's is having an anniversary. Even if Berman's doesn't share anything with us, we go out and we do our own post related to that, and make sure we still highlight that person. Those are the kind of things that it's gonna take a lot of time management and scheduling for this person to understand what actually, and it's gonna require this person to go around and really do a survey with everybody and say, when's your business anniversary? Do you have any upcoming events throughout the year? What are all of your information? We basically have to do what we did for the website and then some again.
I'm just concerned about the idea of, okay, well, Steve shares once, June shares 20, that thing, and I hate to play devil's advocate, but that was specifically one of the things I was told. How is that fair, especially when our dues are based on a percentage? So like, one person might pay way, way more, and if I'm only getting shared once, it loses the incentive for the business to continue to pour back into the bid. I tag you every single day when I post in my stories 3 times a day, but you're not getting the return on that. So it loses incentive for the business to keep sharing almost. And then you have an angry business owner because I'm tagging you, I'm doing what you want.
Well, if they're tagging them, it's still gonna show up.
Right. But in terms of, well, I might tag you 20 times and Steve might tag you once, like, you kind of lose, I don't know, that was just one specific piece of feedback.
We were sharing what anyone was tagging us, we were sharing, right? So then we're gonna run into the same situation where it looks like, these 3 businesses are getting shared all the time because they're doing a lot of posts.
Yeah.
But then there's also other businesses who are not doing as many posts, and so then they're not tagging and not getting shared. Does that make sense?
to me, that wasn't the problem. It was that there were about 3 businesses that were posting quite a bit, and 1 or 2 were getting highlighted more than the others. That's what I picked up on. That's what the complaint I got was, that it wasn't equitable. And that way, so we just, because I don't send in posts, and I'm not worried about it type of thing. And I pay probably as much as anybody in this room type of thing. It doesn't bother me type of thing, I was looking at some numbers. If our budget is $25,000 for the year, and we spend $10,000 on this person, I'm assuming it's gonna be a person type of thing, and we end up spending about $12,000 a year on maintenance and photography and all that type of thing, that's 88% of our budget for those two items. Because that adds up to $22,000 out of the 25.
And how much does it cost us every time we rent the trolley for something?
$120. I mean, right now you guys have a surplus, because you haven't spent the, your full amount each fiscal year.
Mhm.
I think we have to look at this as, we only have so much money. And unfortunately, things cost money, and you get what you pay for. Where's our priority at? And I think Steve brought up the point, I won't blame Steve. Steve made me think of this, that, maybe we just don't bring in enough money to do this. To do what we said we would do for people.
That is kind of where I'm leading with my questions. It just sounds like a lot of money, and a social media manager is a lot of money. That's just my point.
It's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
A website costs a lot of money, we know that. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
At the end of the day, $25,000 a year is not enough to run a marketing campaign for 180 businesses.
Which I hate to say, but it's like, our ultimate goal is to support businesses and help them be successful. And if we can't do that 100% and give them what we say we're gonna give them, I feel like it's just gonna cause more problems.
Which is what we already see when we're
Mhm.
doing it
Which
with.
is, it's not gonna be it's just gonna be better and more consistent posts, but like the same problems.
The benefit of this is it removes the 7 of us out of the situation, other than we're overseeing it, but it really puts it on, we don't get the, oh, well, Leslie runs the Twitter account, and Leslie doesn't like my business, that's why she never shares any of my stuff. We remove that.
It does lend a degree of professionalism for us,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm in favor of trying to do it, and I'm in favor of spending the bulk of our budget, because when we set up our budget, we put the bulk of it into, marketing type of thing, and I think that's what any downtown.
I guess I'm willing to try it.
Yeah.
I'm willing to try it and kind of,
And I like the fact that we're not locked in for 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder, so if we look at the issues we've had, I feel like a bulk of them come from specifically Instagram. Tell me if I'm wrong, someone, but this is the feedback I've gotten. Specifically Instagram and like the stories and shit, the things like on a daily basis, like, 500, 300, 400, whatever, people tag me in this, share. I wonder if, like, how can we divvy up the difference between those, where posting once a day, like, you can make that fair, more fair than just sharing stories, because every day when every business posts, they're gonna be tagging and sharing. I feel like that's where the main issue is stemming from.
I think the posts are original content by
The
this
posts
person.
are original content, and I don't think, I haven't heard any
doesn't list
complaints
any-
about posts. It's been every morning, like, the stories, you see the same
well,
4 or 5
because we're
people.
not posting, we
Mhm.
haven't posted individual businesses.
We don't have any posts, really. I mean, there's a few in there, but there's nothing significant. So the posting that's getting done is what we're talking about on page 2 of this. And it says it should speak to our entire audience, have variety, timely and topical posts that have to do with current events and holidays, and are interactive. So that person is, the post problem is solved because it's original content. That post is not, look at the sale that Berman's having.
Mhm.
The post is,
Downtown.
hey, the Christmas tree went up today, or, you know,
Testimonial of people shopping.
Yeah.
Why do you enjoy coming to the downtown district?
yeah, or they interviewed somebody downtown, and said, oh, this place is amazing, I found everything I needed, and dinner was great, and, it's that kind of stuff, so.
So then maybe we just, when, we adopt and we change things a little bit, maybe we just narrow down what exactly they are doing in their 20 or whatever hours a week, not focusing so much on stories, because there's a lot of people that tag in stories, and they're not always like members necessarily.
Well, it doesn't even mention that part in here.
Yeah,
It's all,
so-
this is all basically for original content.
Maybe we just move forward, because I think it is a good thing, and we just specify later what exactly they're doing, because stories are a slippery slope, I think. it just requires a lot more detail.
And that's where we work with that person.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a couple months to really flesh this out as to what it's gonna look like for them. But it's also gonna be up to that person in their bid to explain what they're going to do with their time. Because you gotta remember that this is different. This isn't, here's your job description and that you're applying for it. It's like, it's, here's the guidelines, you write your own job description, you tell us how much it's gonna cost us. So it's a little different
What
way
you
of
can
looking
do
at it.
within that job description.
What's that?
What you can do within that job
Yep.
description for X amount of dollars.
Right.
This is on the same subject, but just my stupidity. Do we have a QR code for the bid?
I think you just made it.
You
So
just,
you
you
just
generate
want,
it.
yeah.
It's on Instagram.
We had one, yeah, we had one for holiday kickoff.
Yeah, you can, it's a
Super easy.
easy
Generate
thing,
anytime, yeah.
it generates it itself.
Oh, okay.
You can
And-
do one to Instagram, to the website, to whatever.
It's still on my counter.
I still ask for a paper menu.
I do too, Steve, don't feel bad.
I still have a QR code from holiday kickoff, it's on my counter, and people do click it.
Yeah.
People are so, oh, while they're waiting for us to do something, they'll click it and they'll read. It should always be there, right there, front and center.
I think that brings us to a point of driving engagement. That's something that person probably should do, is either a countertop sticker or a window sticker for everybody that's in the district.
Yes, I would like that.
I agree. We're doing those for the chamber. I mean, it makes sense. When you walk in the door, you're like, oh, what is this? Because you see it right there. Or you're standing at the counter waiting to pay, yeah.
Yeah, well, we're up and give people a clicking in on that, and they're reading, and then they click to our Instagram, and they read through that too. So,
Again, that's details, that's weeds within it,
Yeah.
so, yeah. I think we have to remember that this is merely guidelines. This is a 30,000-foot view of what we're expecting from them, so. All of that other stuff is stuff we can push towards them.
So, we all are in agreement.
Yeah.
How do we move forward with this?
We need to set a budget. And then,
I thought we were going to say, send out and ask for a job description and ask them to provide a budget.
on bids, do you guys normally set a budget ahead of time? Or you wait for the bids?
Like for the engineer
Yeah.
type bids, there's an engineer estimate, but I don't think it's written on the bid.
Okay.
what do we do when we hire this doctor? We just,
It was an open
it
bid.
was open bid, they came in and gave.
We gave them guidelines, no, that, I think we're doing them an injustice if we don't set some kind of guideline, request a bid. I think if we put it,
Up to a maximum. Well, we just did the mini mural
yeah,
and we put put a top amount.
A range.
Yeah, a range.
I
I
think
can't
we- I think we
exceed a
can-
certain amount.
yeah, I think we can set a range that, or set a high limit, but then also put in the bid the hour expectation, the work expectation too. Because I think that'll help drive what people see.
So if we say $1,000 a month, that's $12,000 a year maximum. Where we would go to.
That's fair.
That sounds fair.
That we should.
It's official.
Well, $1,000 a month sounds better than 12,000 a year doesn't sound like much money.
No, no.
If we
So I
could
think
get
the
that
industry
one.
So Steve's making a motion.
Yeah.
I'll second that motion.
Reggie second. All those in favor of the motion as, I'm gonna paraphrase, that we approve up to $1,000 a month for a social media manager going forward
Go out to bid.
to go out to bid, not a year contract and not a month-to-month
To be a month-to-month contract.
contract. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So, it passes, okay.
What's the deadline you guys want for them to submit it by?
What do we normally have to give? Is there a limit, or is there, like, don't we have to give them like 30 days or something?
I don't know.
How soon can you do that?
Get it on mic.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Could we have it by February? Well, could we have the announcement within 2 weeks?
don't see why not.
Have them by the March meeting?
Yeah, when,
Can we say in our social media, we are currently seeking, we will formally post, can we link that out that we're on the hunt?
yeah, that's up to you guys. This is an open meeting, you know, what you guys are discussing is open to the public. There's, yeah.
Anyone listening?
So if you're listening.
Yeah. So once it gets written up correctly, it will be put on our city's website under our bid, like we have a certain part for RFPs and bids and stuff like that, and then I could send you guys all the link once it's up there. Is there a certain contact person for questions that you guys wanna designate out of you guys? That's kinda what we ran into last time. They would ask me and I'd be like, I don't know.
I don't mind heading that up,
Yeah.
if you want me to.
Are you, do you girls wanna talk to the group people, or?
Just for the bid portion of it.
Giving birth is.
Oh, that is kind of, I'm sorry.
Might as
Don't know
well.
where I'll be the first week
Yeah,
of March.
right.
Selfish.
I don't mind being the
Okay,
contract.
we'll Zoom from the hospital, be fine.
I was just gonna say, don't they have, you know, like yourself.
Modern technology now.
We don't know how we're gonna be, it's just we do it fast.
We can't revisit this again in February,
You guys could do whatever you want.
February 7th,
Like-
when we meet again.
Regarding-
March.
Just giving people enough time to put a bid in. Is my thought, because that's soon.
Okay.
33 days.
To get us in
Yeah.
there.
I understand.
Yeah.
Your guys' meeting in March will be March 7th.
So set the deadline February
Oh,
twenty-eighth,
yes, March,
February 28th is the deadline?
end of February,
Yeah,
not a leap year, right? No.
No.
because then I would post the agenda on March 3rd.
And we should have all the bids in, because the bids have the agenda, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so yeah,
So
before.
February twenty-eighth is the deadline. Submitted directly to A. Pelsgard at
City of Kingswood. #CA.
.org.
okay.
And then I don't mind, if people have questions, they can contact me.
All right,
They don't understand what we're asking for.
I will put you as the contact.
Okay. We'll keep Leslie informed too on yes, but I think this is gonna be a good move for us, because this is actually going to have a person now doing things that's accountable,
Yeah, consistent.
and our members are going to see that, which is good.
Excuse me. Okay. So social media, item number 4, social media manager, we did that. Item number 5, website finalization, Amanda spoke with them. Lauren and Amanda went completely through the website and took out all grammatical errors and funny errors, and she had like 5 pages, and sent them all to the 5. And the 5 emailed us this morning, or last night, I think it was, and said that they've made all the changes, they've split out the photos, and that they're hoping to have it up and running by this week, I think is what I told you guys earlier today.
That's good.
Um,
I was way past you.
yeah, and so when I have that it is live, I will text or email all of you so that you can go on there. That's all the information I have on that.
I'd like to compliment Abby. That website finalization is being done by the 5, and it's the 5th thing on our agenda.
Mm-hmm.
That's very
Good job.
classy.
You're
All
clever.
right,
Classy.
I planned that out.
Question,
Yes,
so with the website being finalized, I can't talk to you guys. Abigail said we have a surplus from this year. I wonder if we could use part of the surplus to get everybody QR codes or put some, not like metal, but like plastic ones
Oh,
next to
window
the
cling.
plaques or something downtown, so when people are scrolling. I mean, I don't know how much that costs, but like,
Window clings are pretty cheap.
yeah.
yeah. or like
We-
some around, just like through town,
We get 200 of them for.
especially
for
down
everybody.
by, like,
you- Front area, or do you use city picture? Or we do, well, what's his face is so good for us too, though. Yeah, I can call it as a picture. Yeah,
I think we, yeah, I would agree. I think we engage Rod and have a bunch of those made.
do you want a QR code on it?
well, everyone has
To go to
their
the
phone in
webpage?
their pocket all the time,
Mm-hmm.
either to the website or to the, probably the website
Mhm.
instead of Instagram. I mean, I guess they go back and forth.
I would send them to the website. I think
Yeah.
ultimately we should drive everything should point towards the website, because that's a new.
So is this gonna also have our logo on it? QR code?
It'll have, it'll be, yeah, with all the branding stuff, the QR code will probably be like that square with the little blue thing on top, and then you scan the bottom.
I'm sure Rod can put something together. He's got the logo, he made it.
Any money, do
We
we,
don't,
can we,
we don't need to vote on that
We don't
because
need to
it's
vote on it.
within our budget, so
Okay.
that we can just, direct the chairman to do that.
all right, so I will
Is that a
contact.
correct statement?
There you go, you're old hat. So I will contact Rod, and so you want our logo?
Like, just like that one
And
square,
the
like when
QR
you share the story, it's just a blue thing, and then with the QR
The
code
QR
in the
code.
middle.
Do you want our website written on there, just for old times?
I think that would be a
People
good
that
idea.
will still plunk it in there and not know how to take a picture of that?
Yeah, some boomers.
If they could do, I don't wanna get too much stuff on there, but yeah, have the website on there.
Just our logos, code, and then the website.
Yeah.
That way they know, like, where am I going?
What is the website?
It is.
DowntownKingsburg.com,
Yeah.
or Kingsburg downtown, downtownkingsburg.com.
I think the website's a good idea.
It is www.kingsburgdowntown.com.
Put Kingsburg first when I.
Kingsburgdowntown.com.
Kingsburgdowntown.com.
Sometimes if you don't know what a QR code is and you just scan it, it's kind of really cool.
I'll send, and we want the same logo as what's on our Insta, correct?
Yeah.
And he has that.
Yes.
You want window clings, and also, I think,
Stickers.
you guys want stickers? Do you want, I also think, like, if you have like a laminated hard thing that somebody could put like a frame on their counter, or a cling on their counter, that somebody like I have, they're standing there.
I think if you make them all as window clings, you can put it anywhere.
I can, you put it on a piece of paper and put it in a frame.
Yeah,
I think a
I
clean
don't
would
put
be
stuff on
easiest.
the windows.
okay. All right, we'll start there. All right, I will take care of that. Number 6, potential workshops.
So this kind of ties back into the issue we talked about earlier, about knowing how to come out and push and do things.
Sounds like a good first thing for our new social media manager to put on.
But are we paying them enough for that? That's kind of hefty. I feel kind of like it should be a little, well, ideally, we bring someone in who talks all about it, but I don't think we're financially in that position. I think what might be most useful is more of a collaborative meeting where if Lauren knows how to do it and like whoever knows very well how to do it might head up this meeting where Reggie, you have more information about like the technology and certain things, like you could head up the next quarter about like internet safety, how to make sure, I don't know, stuff like that. Ideally, yes, we have somebody run them all, but then we back into that line of,
But like for our first step, just like an informal, hey, this is a meet and greet, and if you have knowledge, come share it with this person. If you have knowledge, come share it with this person.
yeah,
I think just doing it almost like a chamber mixer
yeah.
for our first workshop, just to
100%.
invite everybody, have some snacks, and just say, come and mingle and get to know the other people in the district.
And I think just
And then
explain
we
this
can
is the
listen to
goal.
everybody bitch about parking.
And why their posts aren't shared. Yeah.
It'll be really constructive, you guys.
Is this gonna be after?
Yeah, someplace, not a government building.
All right. All right, so, I think we need to hit the ground running with this. Is there any way we can do this in the next,
February.
February?
Yeah. Well, we can do it at Bella Rose, or the back of the bridal school.
Wait, when are you gonna be out of commission?
She's not coming till like the end of,
Oh, okay.
well, Valentine's Day is when I want her to come, but I don't know if she'll come.
Earlier, your mom's having how many people to dinner? Is there any way we could do it in January?
Sure.
Like, seriously, like, I think we need to, like,
Oh, I
do
think,
something this month.
I think that's easy. End of the month. Today's
3 weeks.
So the 17th, no,
That's 2 weeks.
14th, right, 24th would be a chamber mixer,
Okay.
Tuesday evening.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna do them back to back?
Where is that at?
I'm not sure where that one is. I have to look. Our office has been torn apart for 3 weeks, so I'm not sure what we're doing right now.
Because that was the date I was gonna suggest.
Let me double check on that. I don't
What
wanna,
time is the chamber mixer? What time?
they're in the
is it?
evening. Let me ask Barbara right now.
5:30?
Normally, isn't that when the chamber?
Yeah, 5:30.
Okay.
We could always do it a different evening.
I can't believe, you're gonna have a chamber mixer on the 24th and then have a dinner on the 26th?
That's a good point. So maybe we don't have one. You know what? We may not have one this month because of the dinner.
Right, that's,
Yeah, I think-
historically, that's what used to happen.
That makes sense. I, just plan for it, because I haven't heard of it
So we
yet.
can do something on the 24th.
We don't have one for this month. Got the official word, so.
I will be gone that entire week, so I wouldn't be able to be here, which is fine, but I would like to be involved, but also whatever works is what I'm saying.
The following week,
I
on
like to,
Tuesday, we're gone, Leslie, both you and I, on the
On the 31st.
on the 31st.
the only thing that would concern me about doing it on the same Tuesday the chamber is if it becomes a repetitive thing, it'll just overlap every time.
It's always the third, it's always the third Thursday
Third Thursday, so Tuesday wouldn't overlap.
Is what?
is the chamber mixers.
The third Thursday,
Thursday,
Thursday.
which would fall on January 19th.
right. So if we did one the fourth Tuesday,
So if bid would take the fourth Tuesday, that would never overlap.
it would never overlap.
Okay, so then if we go to,
It'd be the 24th then.
yeah,
And we could do the third. No, it's hard to ask for people to do two things in the evening in 1 week.
Yeah, looks like a lot of people have conflicting.
you wanna push it to February 7th? Everybody can be there?
Go with the first Tuesday of every month?
A meeting in the morning and a social event in the evening. or
Make it
education-
mid-Tuesday.
Education.
It's mid-Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay, February 7th.
February 7th, I like
That gives
that.
us a week to get something together and then a month to push it out for people to know.
Mhm.
That's fair.
I think just having it as a initial mixer and meet and greet, I
Yeah.
think the first one, don't overdo it.
No, I would just do welcome snacks.
Mhm.
This is our goal for this year. Even, this sounds so cheesy, like a little suggestion box, like leaving it open, what do you want, like,
I think it'd be great if we had some kind of paper for them to fill out again with all of their information,
yeah.
so we have all of that. I mean, we'll have 3 people show up for it, or we'll have 100 people show up for it, who knows?
So where are we doing this?
Let's do it.
I will nominate Bella Rose.
That should work, yeah.
A patio.
It's hot under there with those heaters, but in
Yeah.
February it'll be fine.
Yeah,
That gives it more flow of space too.
yeah.
Wonder if you're listening.
February 7th, Bella Rose Cafe,
We're doing 5 o'clock,
5:30,
5:30, so people can get off.
yeah.
What do we wanna call it? And do we want to put a social media post for it?
Absolutely.
Yes and yes.
I would just call it a bid mixer.
Coffee and collaboration.
Yeah.
Fika and friendship.
Fika and friendship.
And Fika, friendship, and Facebook, there you go. There you
Yes.
go.
Are you putting an end time on this?
7:30, 2 hours, 5:30, 7:30.
Beautiful.
So you guys send Miss Amanda, I'm sure she's listening, Miss Amanda, she can create a little blurb for us.
You guys make a flyer, you could send it to me, and I could send it to the emails that I have for big numbers.
Okay.
Put them what I have.
I'll work on a, survey sheet for everybody to gather all their info.
And,
Put that together.
and then I have like 10 survey questions I'm gonna email to you guys.
Okay.
For them, like, and then a few more of the today is like, you know, like you're gonna put on there, what do you use, what handles do you use?
Yeah.
Yeah, send it all to me, I'll put it all together on that too.
Okay, physical, do you want us to bring people in, physically bring people in, and do you want us to drive the social media to your place? How do you feel about events? And what can we do for you? Ultimately, what can we do for you?
Make that an online survey too, so they can put their hand right up over there, or give them a QR code to send a survey monkey or something.
I think it'd be helpful to, and I can try, I think next week I have more time, like last month, or whenever that was, when I went out walking, talking to people, I think that's the biggest, like, because I talked to someone, like, oh, what is this? And I was like, what do you mean, what is it? So, I think going to people and showing them your face, saying, hey, we're doing this on February 7th. There's food.
Mm-hmm.
Food and treats get people. So I think that would be helpful too, in terms of getting people in, so it's not just all of us getting together that night. So just,
7 of us.
yeah.
Once
Great.
again, cost of food and all that, this is a promotional deal, so we don't have to vote on it type of thing, but that can be, you know, we can, there is enough money for, and just throw a couple $100 in food type of thing, and you'll head up that?
Yeah.
Okay,
If you guys have survey questions you wanna see, just send them to me, and I'll work on putting together a survey. And I will also work on finding a way to get it out to everybody, either in person or something.
Yeah.
And we can hit them up again on, maybe we can share,
First week of February.
maybe we can, if we can get it out in the next week, we can start collecting some of that information,
Yeah.
and we can share that on February 7th with everybody and say, hey, this is the feedback we've been getting so far.
Yeah.
If you haven't filled it out, please do.
okay,
So our first one's an intro.
Hey, so we're not using budgeted money, I'll donate some adult beverages. I do, but I don't, you shouldn't have to provide everything.
okay, moving on, item number 7, reports from other board members. I gave Amanda's report, anyone else?
I was asked to talk about the, what was it, say that was being done by the city, and Jolene is here, and I'm gonna, the zoning deal, and Jolene is here, so, and she has had better, communication than I've had with those people, so I would defer to her to report what's happening with that.
So on the actual zoning people, as far as I know, nothing is happening. I haven't seen anything that's gone through. However, the direction we got from the city council was they really weren't ready to do zoning, they should look at incentives. So that's what the Economic Development Committee has been tasked with, is finding somebody out there who's doing something similar to what we're looking at incentive-wise. And so we have found Carrollton, Texas. And I have been talking to him. We want to have an Economic Development Committee meeting initially, just in case this is something we want to emulate. And we're waiting until we have a new Economic Development Committee, because we have new city council members. And so we'll have city members assigned to that committee, then we'll have a meeting, and then we'll start that process. That's what we're waiting for, is to have a new committee.
So then the incentives are for the city to look at, be advantageous to downtown and actual businesses versus offices, and the incentives that the city can potentially offer to those businesses would make lean towards actual businesses versus offices in the skyscrapers, the arteries. What do you call them, arteries? I guess so. Anyway, to try to, discourage property owners from just leaning towards offices, because it's a lot more profitable for a building owner to lease an office than it is to a retail of any type of thing, but, I don't believe in that, so I'm just one of few. So that's my report.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Okay, we're moving on to item number 8. Any other business that we need to speak of today?
Do you want an update on the murals?
That would be amazing, thank you.
Murals. So the contracts have been executed. We actually have, we were gonna do 6, but we're gonna do 5 murals. They can start anytime starting now. Some of them wanna wait until after all this rain gets over with, but, they have all been tasked to be completed by April 1st, ahead of the car show, because we wanted to make sure that we had them all for the car show. Once they are all in place, then I'll work on getting media coverage for them, because I think that would be a nice story for, especially ABC 30, they just love to come after. So, yeah, we're really excited. All of them are in the bid. So,
I saw somebody working on starting measuring and everything behind the library,
yes,
so.
yes. I think two of them are interactive, and one of them, actually, Steve and CJ got hold of one of them and made it so much better than it would have been otherwise. So,
We actually moved it. It was,
yeah, you moved it.
that one was
Changed
scheduled to
it.
be in the alley, between your place and Fugazi's, in the back there behind the fence. And we've actually moved it up towards Draper Street so that it's visible from Draper Street. And the interactiveness of it, it's a blossom.
Orchard and.
Orchard,
and
it looks, to me, it looks like almond trees and so we're going to take the table that's there and put more of a bistro table so you can sit and it'll look like you're sitting in the orchard type of thing, so. Anyway, so we made a few changes
And
on
you
that.
put lights, and, they've done too,
Yeah.
just tricked it out,
Yeah.
so.
We're gonna have lights on it at night, so it'll shine up, it'll be, hopefully people, and those gates are never locked, so, it can be easily.
All right. Anyone else?
And the 6th location was, back on,
West America.
West America on the back. It's been eliminated at this.
Because we don't have artists or?
So we
Property owner.
the property owner didn't want the mural that was assigned. They wanted another mural, and they wanted all these changes made to that mural that had been put on there. Well, we wanted the mural that they wanted to stay where we had assigned that one. And so we also had an artist who was very talented, but he wasn't really capturing what we wanted. So the decision was, we're just gonna drop those two, and if we do another round, we can get back and talk to both of them, but right now, it just seemed like these 5 were ready to go, and it's just easier to set aside the ones that weren't quite ready to go.
So we're gonna be the gardens, or in the alley in between, where else are we?
And then behind the library,
Behind the library.
on Chicago Title side,
Mm-hmm,
and then, Salon Zen,
mm-hmm.
and then, Parminder's building across the street from London Properties, that little
That
building.
takes pointers for those of you that have been in town for over 40 years.
Okay, right there.
And that's gonna be on the side with the parking lot?
Yes,
Okay.
so actually, the side of the or the back of the
They'll face each
library is
other?
gonna,
Okay.
have one, and then the other one, the other side of the parking lot. Yeah, they're all looking really good, we're excited about it.
Good project.
And then, has anybody given you their check form yet?
Yeah, I told them just to send it to Marcia, but at least one has CC'd me on it also, so I'll let Marcia handle it with that side.
Okay.
Okay, the only other businesses I've, just so you guys know, I've had a few people come in with their business licenses and shake them at me and talk to me about paying the bid due thing, and I said, well, it is what it is, you had a chance to vote this down. It was not voted down, it was 0.02% against it. You know, if you feel that strongly about it, the next time it comes up.
And didn't you also always invite them to some of our meetings?
And then I always said, we have a meeting, come, listen, do whatever you need to do. And then I will be very honest, that there have been a few people, I'm like, well, just don't pay it. Go for it. So, you know, I've given them every option to either join, suck it up and join and make it better, or just don't. So, just so you guys know, that's pretty much the advice I've been given. I've had people come and yell at me about parking, and I said, that's really not my, I can't do anything about it, but the city is working on it. I have supported the city because I know that those folks are still doing their study and so you can't say that the city isn't trying to figure this out for us. And, I've had some folks come and ask me if I would start a couple campaigns to have the city administration removed, and I've had a couple campaigns to ask me to, start eminent domain, I don't know what they want me to do, start a petition to create eminent domain so we can have more parking, and I'm like, that's not what we're into, so just so you folks know. Just so you folks, yeah, just so you folks know, I represented, yeah, so you know, I represented us as a board and said, well, that's not really our job, but you're more than welcome to come to our meetings and bring that to us to the board, and then we can tell you formally, we can help you with that. So, just so you guys know what's coming out of my mouth a few places, so that's my report. Shall we adjourn? Because I think we got a lot of good stuff done today.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's adjourn. Our next meeting will be February 7th.